The controversy about the appointment of the Vice Chancellor of the Rivers State University of Science and Technology. We're joined this morning now by Mr. Tamuno Williams, who is a legal practitioner. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Oh, thank you. Welcome.
And we will also be getting across to Nasser Issa Fage, who is the National President of the Academic Staff Union of Universities. He will join us in a moment. Well, in the meantime, some sort of background. Of course, you're aware of the fact that ASU is up in arms against this. The River State chapter, RSUST.
Yes,
almost sounds like, you call it RUST?
Yes.
Okay. They're also up in arms about this matter, saying they do not in any way agree with the governor's decision to appoint Professor Fakaye as the Vice Chancellor. What do you think of that?
Well, essentially, the issue of appointment of Bebe Fakaye had been on for about 2 years. You recall that in 2010, ASU went to court, challenging the appointment in the first instance. And that has been the background. But on the current issue, I believe the governor was in your studio, and he gave a detailed account of the procedure. Now, basically, the issue is legal. It's not about sentiments. It's not about feelings. The RSUST law, the first schedule, paragraph 3.1, provides for the procedure to be followed.
Which is?
That there will be a Senate Council Joint Committee that would make selection, recommendation to the governor. And the governor said categorically clear that he has acted upon the recommendation of that committee.
What was the recommendation of the committee?
That two persons were recommended, Professor Yinda and Fakaye. And he went on to explain the circumstances, that he was shocked because the governor is not a part of the committee. He is to act upon their recommendation. And that at the end of the selection, the interview of the committee recommended that 3 persons who contested for the VCship took part in the process of electing the electoral college, the committee and electoral college in essence. And that you cannot appoint your own judge. In law, in equity, these are fairly clear issues. So the governor at this point now has acted upon the recommendation of the Senate Council Joint Committee. And mark you, at the end of the committee's meeting, there will be correspondence conveying the decision to the governor. And that is done by the Pro-Chancellor.
Is this, sorry to interrupt you, is this the first or the second appointment?
No, we're talking about the matter in issue now, which is this reappointment.
Okay.
The reappointment, you understand? And if I take you back, if you go to paragraph 6.2 of the RSUST law, there is no procedure for reappointment. And there has been this wild confusion. The first section 3.1 talked about appointment of the Vice Chancellor. Then you have 4 years. After your 4 years, if you go down, the law says that the person can be reappointed unless he was removed for misconduct. And in the history of RSUST, there have been several reappointments of Vice Chancellors. So but in this particular case, it is categorically clear that the governor has made it. He has said that, look, I have acted upon the recommendation of the Senate Council Joint Committee, which is to choose between Professor Yinda and Fakaye. And he has done that.
Well, the way it is now, if we get in the picture, you said the first term in office wasn't his term in office, so to speak. Now, you call that it was a caretaker?
No, I will explain that. Now, this one has been over.
Because you say there's nothing in the laws setting up that institution that you have a second term.
No, the law is here. I can read to you. The Vice Chancellor has first appointment for 4 years. Then you are reappointable for another 3 years. This is different from the law, establishing federal universities.
Just looking through this document, an internal memo talking about the appointment and reappointment of Vice Chancellor in RUST, as you call it. But it says here that the appointment and reappointment of the Vice Chancellors is governed by the provisions of the University of Science and Technology Law, Cap 133, Volume 6, Laws of River State.
Yes.
And then it goes on to talk about subparagraph 1 of paragraph 3 says, the Vice Chancellor shall be appointed by the Governor, acting on the recommendation of a joint selection committee of Senate and Council.
Yes, correct.
And sub 3 says he shall hold office for 4 years in the first instance and shall be eligible for reappointment for a second term of 3 years. Thereafter, he shall no longer be eligible for appointments until at least 4 years have elapsed since he last held office as Vice Chancellor.
Okay, I'll pray to read paragraph 6.2, which governs reappointment of the same law.
Go ahead.
Oh, you can read it.
No, that's it. It's
Okay,
still way down here. So
that provides
yeah.
that. Let me read. That provides that the Vice Chancellor can be appointed for another 3 years unless he was removed, dismissed for misconduct.
Is that constitutional?
I actually saw that. Sorry, Chairman, that was where I was going to, because for the reappointment, for now, he's only done 3 years. But the law books there says 4 years, then reappointment for another 3 years. So which one comes first? Because now he's done 3 years.
No, the VC has done his first term of 4 years. And that is why they are going
in acting capacity.
No, I will have shown you. He has served 4 years as substantive Vice Chancellor. He wasn't acting. His first appointment was dramatic. I heard the professor explain that earlier. A situation where there was a fire incident, the council was polarized, and then the governor dissolved the council. The only situation where you can invoke the selection process is when there is a council, there's a senate. By the time of his first appointment, there was no council. So an issue of selection of vice does not arise. So you had to apply, of course, you have the law of necessity, where there is a vacuum. You have to act to ensure that the system continues. That was the first instance. But thereafter, the appointment was confirmed, and every stakeholders, supported the appointment.